Welcome to the Love on the Go podcast, brought to you by Carolina's Matchmaker. I'm Laurie, and for over 17 years, I've been helping singles find the relationship of their dreams all over the Carolinas. Along the journey, I've met so many amazing professionals and experts from various fields, and I'm excited to introduce them to you. What's my goal? I want to help you look at love and relationships in a new way and to grow in your understanding of how love works. Let's learn together how people have overcome personal obstacles and have found love, first and foremost with themselves. The ultimate goal is realizing that you are worthy and deserving of love. Let's get started. Hi, everyone. Today I'm welcoming Liz Hilliard, the owner of Hilliard Studio Method, and Lee Kennelly, her Director of Training and her fiance, to the podcast. Liz Hilliard is a business owner, an author, and motivational speaker, personal and group trainer, and owner of and creator of the Hilliard Studio Method, which if you live in Charlotte, North Carolina, you've heard of. And she has, I know, stretched her business. I heard on her podcast, which is called Be Powerful with Liz and Lee, that she was in Charleston recently, and they're building their business. And it's been incredible to watch it. And Lee comes from a teaching background, and now she's their director of training, as I mentioned. Welcome. Hello.
Thank you. We're so happy to be here, Laurie.
So Liz, why don't you say hello, because then I'll be able to, the audience will be able to differentiate your voices.
Absolutely. I'm Liz, and I'm so happy to be here with you, Laurie. This is fun.
Yeah.
It's good to see you in person, sort of on the screen.
Thank you. And if you go on YouTube, you can watch it. And then Lee, if you want to say hello.
Hi, everybody. I'm also glad to be here. So thank you.
Good. I want to tell you that I had 1,000 questions to ask you. I've done like a deep dive into your backstory, your personal story. And I, since this is a relationship oriented podcast, I want to just dive in. I mean, obviously we could do everything about where you grew up and, what everything you've done, but I think it's so much more interesting to talk about y'all. I mean, I want people to know your journey and what you have gone through to become the people who you are and living an authentic life, essentially. And I'm really hoping that it brings somebody some strength and hope if they're in any kind of a dark place, because you guys have been there and you've come out the other side, from what I understand. So tell us about you. Tell us about your story.
You gonna take this one?
You want me to take this? Well, thank you, Laurie. Our story is unique, I believe. Yes. We were both heterosexual women, or I don't want to speak for myself, but I can speak for you on the heterosexual front. We were both heterosexual women living our lives, being friends, very, very good friends. And really and truly, in a shocking way, we had a change. How do you say that, Lee? Honestly, I mean, I recently wrote an article about this that's in the Huffington Post that's coming out tomorrow.
Cool.
And it's about how shocking it was to be friends. I've been married for 37 years. Lee, how long have you been married? 12. So we have been in heterosexual relationships all of our lives, and we're shocked to find that we were I was an instant attraction to Lee, not the minute I met her, but about 4+ years ago now.
Right.
I described that in a story I've just written about how that really was a shock, like an electric shock to me. Whereas one day she's just Lee being our director of training, and we were having a particularly tough day one day, and she came up and put her arms around me in her usual way. She's a big hugger, and said, "Look, everything's going to be fine. I've got your back. Everything's good." And I literally felt a surge of change. And that's when I knew I was definitely either going crazy. I knew immediately that I needed to push her away because I didn't understand the feeling I was having. So that was an odd day.
I mean, I think there are a lot of reasons why there was that push away. I mean,
Yeah.
so for a little context, I started working for Liz in about 2012. I took a class, started training kind of immediately. Laurie, as you mentioned, I was a school teacher, loved to exercise, and just started working for you. And so we developed this really deep, close friendship. I mean, Liz is 26 years older than I am. As she said, we were both married. I had 2 children at the time. I mean, this was not, you know, a matchmaking scenario or one we ever thought would be one. And so I think the beauty of it is that we developed such a strong just bond as friends.
Friendship.
And then we started to go through similar, you know, but very different, because everybody's marriage is very different, situations in our own marriages, and we're sounding boards really for each other. And at some point realized we were on the same path out of our marriages, and it was very shocking to start to be on a path towards you in a relationship that was romantic.
Yeah. So as you can imagine, the upheaval of me being who and Lee too, but in this small pond we all live in, I'm sort of well known. People know who I am.
Yeah,
and
you're a leader and an influencer in the community for sure.
And so there I was with everything to lose. And so immediately I denied it to myself. I denied it to the world. I denied it to people around me that loved me and supported me. And it was very, very difficult to find the courage to live what really, remember, I've written a book called Be Powerful, Finding Your Strength at Any Age. And literally it's about authenticity and about owning your space, walking your path, finding your uniqueness, your beauty, your person inside of you that is the great, you know, the person you are, and really opening to that. So in writing the book, I think Lee and I were together, and that somewhat was a beginning of that opening, but I didn't know it. And then even when I felt it, I denied it. And so the courage it took, I think, for both of us, you know, I would like to, I can only speak for myself. I was already breaking up a marriage of 37 years. This was a marriage on life support, which, by the way, I do want to shout out to my ex-husband. I think it's important here. When a marriage has run its course, it doesn't mean that it's a failure. I think it means that it has run its course. I have nothing but love and respect for my ex-husband. And as a matter of fact, and I'll back up and tell you about the rumors, but you probably, there was rumors around the town and people thought the worst of Lee and I, because they could see the obvious attraction. And so when I went to my ex-husband and finally told him what was going on, he was the very first supporter of Lee and I. So I don't care what he ever does in his life. I will be his defender and supporter the rest of his life, because that's really the way love goes. You know, it's not, the hurt had already passed us. I mean, the hurt is always there in divorce, but the sharp pains of a hard marriage were behind us. And so he was big enough and strong enough to stand beside me. That meant everything.
That shows true love.
That it really does.
Lasting love. And respect. Right.
And plus, but you know, this was a new feeling for Lee and I remember being just like, oh my gosh. And what you don't know about me is I'm like a bull in a china shop in some ways. I push head on. And if there's something going on that I need to either make a change or do something, I immediately address things. I don't let them sit. I don't ruminate. I don't think about it. I go straight at it. So
you kind of went straight at me. So I rounded on that.
But no, I was like, I felt like a teenager. I was like, okay, I'm going to invite her to dinner tonight. And this is like right around the time all this is coming down, because I'm having these feelings after she throws her arms around me. I'm like, this is so wrong. I'm obviously insane. And I'm, you know, what is the matter with me? I probably need to go to deep therapy and, you know, change all kinds of things in my life. And so I invited her to dinner. I texted her. She you know what it feels when they text right back. Like she texted right back. She goes, "Yeah, I'll meet you for dinner." I'm like, "Okay, we've had dinner 1,000 times, right? We have been families together. My daughter, all of us. We just are best buddies. But this was different." And she got right back. And we went to dinner, and after dinner, we sat on my back patio, and I said to her, I'm having these feelings that are not the normal feelings. I've always loved you as a friend, but this feels very different and expansive, and I couldn't put words to it. And I just sort of like eased into, do you feel any of this?
Yeah.
And what did you say?
The answer was yes.
How quickly did you realize it after that hug, Lee?
It's like an energy shifted. So I didn't feel it at that immediate time that you did, but the way we began to interact just felt a little different. I mean, there was nothing that poignant or out of the ordinary, but I could feel a difference. And then once you said it, it was very simple for me to say, yeah, me too.
Right. and yeah. But that doesn't make me sound like the aggressor, right?
No, right. It was very mutual. Was it? You weren't preying on your employee,
which was one of the, there were in a small town like Charlotte, there's a rumor mill, and it's very vicious sometimes. And I totally get it. How bizarre was this? We had to be the greatest,
dinner table
here's
conversation.
some great dinner table conversation. Can you believe this? And
I get it. I get that.
Yeah, I get it too. But one of them was that I was sort of aggressive, and actually Lee was pretty aggressive, because when I tried to call it off, you were like, nope, that's not going to happen.
That shouldn't fail.
Yeah, I did not. I said, I literally denied it, and I said, no, we're not doing this any further. And she said, yes, we are.
Yeah. So you both felt the force, and then you just had to continue on.
Yeah.
And that lightning bolt moment, I don't know if you guys believe in this or not, but I believe that we have soulmates in life, and that we get that lightning bolt when we meet somebody. And sometimes it doesn't happen for a minute. It happened with me, with my husband. I was friends with him for 2 years. He was younger than me, so I didn't think about him in college. And then all of a sudden I had that lightning bolt, like, he's the one it was like a whispering in my ear.
Yeah.
And then once you get that calling, you can't go back. It's like a knowledge that this is your person.
You can't think your way out of your heart.
No,
your heart,
you can't.
When you get that Cupid arrow deep into your heart, it literally can happen in an instant, I believe.
Yep.
You can't think your way out of that. You can't.
No.
Right. And I think there's a lot of reasons why that lightning bolt occurs for some people, because I don't want anybody listening to be like, well, I haven't felt that, or I really am in love with my partner and haven't felt that. But I think in some instances, when there is such love and trust and respect in a relationship, that just promotes that kind of strong, intense energy. And I think that's, for people who do get to feel it, it's pretty amazing, but it's not the only way. But I think it just speaks to the strength of the partnership.
Right. And it's sort of lasting too. Sort of. It is lasting.
How is this relationship different than relationships you've had in the past with other people?
Good question.
Well,
for me, it really is just 100% partnership. Not only do I enjoy being with Liz all the time. I mean, obviously I work for her, so we're together at work all the time. We spend our time together. I have 2 kind of grown teenage children. So custody wise, we were 1 week on and 1 week off. So I live in a different place with them, and then weeks on when I'm with you. So there is that really nice balance where we kind of go, okay, and oh my God, I really miss you. And it's kind of hard. It is hard because it's not, in quotes, normal, but for now it works for us. And so just being together and the interests we have together are really great. In addition, I think our personalities, like you and the bull in the China shop, and I am a little more reserved and sensitive and all those things. I think we balance each other out, but Liz also pushes me out of that comfort zone. So I feel more strong and more myself than I ever have. So I know that I can be myself. I can say anything that I'm feeling and know that it's a safe place with her.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of it. I don't know if, because I've had a lot, I was married a long time, but I had several, heterosexual relationships. And by the way, never a relationship with a woman, never had a feeling for a woman.
Yeah.
But so I can speak to what Lee and I have. It's just, the difference is it's easy. It's like pushing the easy button. It's women tend to understand one another and talk things through and respect, get each other pretty easily. when we have differences, it's on the table quickly. It's not, you don't have to, we just have an easy way of getting through any controversy. And so that when you're able to relate to one another so deeply and easily, then you are opening yourself to a lot more joy and fun in your relationship. And I think we have even in the worst of times, a really joyful, fun existence together, life together. So,
and I think that part is what keeps that energy and that spark going.
Yes.
I mean, I know that if people do get in ruts, sometimes the advice is like, just go do something fun, like take the pressure off the table. And I think that's the natural existence for us that keeps that really at the forefront.
Yeah, it's more organic the way it's happening with you.
Totally organic. And we don't have a lot of, I wonder what she'll think of if I ask her this question. We're just open books to each other. And we're like joyful little kids, like, because we're doing things that we've never done before. You know?
What?
Well, like,
I'm like
what? Romance.
Yeah, right.
Like,
There's that.
I'm sorry. Let's just talk about, no, not going into detail, but that's a whole different ball of wax.
Yeah.
It's totally different. And really, I mean, you can't imagine how, because neither one of us had any of that experience,
right?
How awkward and fun and hilarious and serious and terrorizing it was all at one time.
I cannot imagine. I have not been in that situation yet. So I don't know. Yeah. And it speaks to fluidity. So I've heard that you don't sort of define yourself as gay. And maybe that's changed since some of the interviews that I've delved into in the past, but how do you associate with the LGBTQ community in any kind of way? Like tell us more about that.
I would like to support the LGBTQ plus community in every possible way. And because we say that we are not quote unquote lesbians, because I feel that is another box that I would put myself into a limitation. And I truly believe that every human being is on a spectrum of everything, sexuality, love, everything. And so I just feel it's the human condition to fall in love, be with the people that you're attracted to, whether it's a male, female, all of it. And so we're new to this. And so I worry, and I think both of us worry that if we don't say, oh, we're lesbians, that we might be offensive in some way to that community. And it's the opposite. Right. We're trying to find our way there. We feel like we're almost, we're newcomers. And so therefore we haven't really put our time in.
Right. It's like we haven't fought a good fight. We didn't have to come out of the closet as teenagers or young adults and, weren't discriminated, Right. We were really discriminated against for being lesbian and gay. Probably our relationship was on the question mark for some people.
No, we got raked over the coals, but that's as an adult human being that has made the choice to do this. My heart breaks for and goes out and here's the community I would like to help are the younger people that, they feel these things and they feel them early and they need respect and they need support. And so I think that's where I would like to help in that community or any way I could, honestly. It's just new. And we're also kind of new to being minority.
Yeah.
Which we have been privileged white women forever. And so we react out of that space as well. We don't react with, we just expect everyone to accept us, right? And we're like, what? You don't? What? Right. You won't let me in your club? What?
Have you had any fallout from this?
Oh goodness, yeah.
Tell us about that a little bit.
Well, fallout from
coming out and from breaking up, two marriages.
The whole thing. I mean, forever I was the spouse of a wife of a very prominent country club here in town, and that's not going to happen anymore. Maybe if I wanted to join, right? So and then we found out friends.
I think I can speak like studio part, right? Like all our clients. What I think probably happened there was Liz shows up with every day, a smile on our face, caring about the clients. And that's what I do as well. So I think when you present yourself just exactly who you are and say, I'm here for you, I mean, people come back for the workout and for that. And so I think there probably are some clients that we have that are, at the beginning, at least, we're like, whoa, that's, what do I do here? And then, but they realize like, this is a place that makes me feel accepted myself. And this is a place where it's all about community and feeling strong and powerful and good. And we just have always tried to deliver that. And so I don't think there's been a long-term fallout there. I think when you show up as yourself, people respect that.
As a matter of fact, I got to interrupt because the opposite has happened in the studio. Opposite. So the people that you would assume or think or prejudge to think would judge you badly have stood behind us because we have always stood behind them. And that still surprised me. I want you to know, because some of these people I know disagree with this lifestyle. They think it is a sin. They have issues with it. But that's the beauty of my studio, Hilliard Studio Method, and the be powerful on the wall is to accept people and find their power wherever they are in that place in their life. And we have done that. I've done that since I opened the doors, and we have done that as a couple. And what we have gained from that, I believe, or what our clients and friends have gained that have stuck with us, are that it doesn't matter who you are. You have challenges in life, and you own it. You know, we've owned it now. So maybe they've got an issue with a relationship with a friend or a marriage or child or something. You go forward with it. You push forward, and you address it. And so I'm about empowering, and an overused term for sure, but it's truly empowering women and men to be authentic, period, because we carry around big boxes and shells of what society expects us to be. And we're afraid, because what if they find out who we really are? And so my studio, I hope, is a safe place for that. And I want those people to feel always open, and it's amazing what physical fitness opens up hearts and minds and emotions. You know?
I think as I think about it, you know, people walk into your studio wanting to improve themselves, and here they see the two of you constantly growing, constantly changing, constantly evolving. And they're like, well, if they can do it, then I can do it. And hopefully are more accepting of who they are, both physically and mentally, and the people around them. And, you know, Myers Park, which is where your studio is, it's like a little bit of a bubble in Charlotte, like think like high society people that are listening. You know, there's definitely people, some folks might be like in a box where they don't know anyone that's different from them. So here you have presented your situation, and there might be some people that left, but the rest of them are there thinking, well, you know, it may not be for me, but it's for them. But who knows? They might have a child, an aunt, an uncle. They might come across somebody and be like, oh, that's just like Liz and Lee. So they have a little bit of a frame of reference with the lifestyle and everything else. And they can see two beautiful women who are living their lives to its fullest, authentically, giving back to the community, and only wanting to help. And that's what you exude.
Thank you. That really is the point.
And honestly, it's just being yourself, no matter what yourself is, and no matter who you are, is going to do that for other people. They're going to go, oh, look at him or her. They, you know, and it's not about not being afraid. You're going to be afraid all the time. It's about walking through the fear. And, and owning your own self, and knowing yourself well, hopefully well enough that you have the courage to walk through it. Because if we hold back, we just stay in the same place, and we hurt ourselves and each other. And life is just way too short for that. Tell us a little bit more about people pleasing and like learning to put yourselves first.
I know, right as you said that, Liz just looked directly at me.
The queen of people pleasing. And you may have the throne right now. Go.
Thank you. No, what do you want to know, Laurie?
Well, do you find sometimes, or in the past, and maybe that's shifted for you, that you were putting other people first and not yourself? And, how damaging was that for you and your psyche?
I mean, probably very damaging, I
Mhm.
think. I think there's nothing wrong with caring about other people. I mean, that is just who I am. But at the sacrifice of who you are, that's where you have to find the awareness to draw the line and see what practices and things you're doing to perpetuate what can really be toxic. I mean, I wanted to please probably my parents, the society I grew up in. I definitely wanted to please myself. I mean, I definitely put the most pressure on myself. So it's not a blame game of what others have done to me. I mean, it's who I am and got approval from that. And so when you get approval for a behavior, you keep going. Right. And so it worked for me for a very long time, but I didn't develop the skills to address confrontation and speak up for myself. And if I did, then that created conflict, which was too hard for me to deal with. Therefore, I go back into myself and create a little resentment bubble going forward, which is just really no good for anybody. And so, have I shaken that all the way? No. Have I
You've come a long way.
come a long way? I hope so.
Incredibly.
And it's just a balance between, is there a way to reframe what people pleasing is? Can you please yourself and not disappoint yourself, and then give and care for others instead of just be there to please others?
You can. And that's what that is. Right. That's sort of the goal. And I'm all of us are people pleasers in some way, because we all want to be accepted. So what are we going to do? We're going to give people what they want, sometimes at the sacrifice of who we are.
Yeah.
And so I do the same thing.
Sure.
And but that's the point. And then when you can really have already filled your own bucket full of who you are, and then you give yourself to people, you're really giving yourself to people, and they feel that,
Yeah.
I don't want people to give themselves to me and be that martyr that you can almost see that energy coming at me going, oh, she's going to want me to go and praise her or something or whatever. So no, that's a negative energy. But I was sort of kidding. I think you've done an incredible turnaround, basically.
Yeah, because I had to. I mean, when you get to the point where you've been married for as long as you have, as long as I had children, no one in my family on any side has been divorced. My in-law family was, Christian family, Catholic families. This is a big deal for me to get divorced and be in a same-sex marriage. And
I put a marriage yet.
Well, right.
It's coming, right?
Same-sex relationship. We'll see. But to even just take that step surely was an evolution and growing from people pleasing and going, no, I know that this isn't the place where my ex-husband or I need to be. This isn't the place where my children need to be. And we all need to be in a better place. So I think I did okay.
I think she's pretty strong.
I think that you're very courageous, because you had two options. You could move forward or you could get sick.
Yes.
Like really sick. And so in a way, the fact that you acted quickly on this was really to your benefit.
Right.
If you really think about it, because I mean, it's going to rot you from the inside out.
Exactly. And I think it's hard for people to get divorced, especially when they have children.
Oh, yeah.
And it was important for me to get divorced because we had children.
Yeah.
I mean, to live the truth and know that can be really messy, but that there is another side. And, I think, I don't know.
You're doing a great job. Yeah.
I didn't say that well, but
no, you said that very well.
I
mean, it is messy. Life is messy.
Very.
A facade of a family unit is simply that. It's a facade. And yes, there's all those studies that says male or whatever, 2 parents in the home and all that sort of thing. But what is the ultimate goal of a parent? To model the behavior that you would hope your children would respect. They don't have to grow up and become gay or lesbian. That what they need to become is who they are. And
that's right.
And they might not thank you for it ever,
right?
Or they might.
Yeah.
And it wasn't easy for my grown child either. It's very difficult. And what I find is the younger, like my grandchildren, are you kidding me? We are like, oh, and by the way, I'm like with Lee now, but it's sort of like being married, like you and, you know, your mommy and daddy. They're like, oh, good. Can we go to the pool now? I mean, yeah. So they're just like, you know, and how beautiful is that, right? So they don't, and I love my grandchildren so much, and they're growing up with this as an example as well.
That's
and,
right.
You know, it doesn't seem to be a hardship for them, and hopefully they will grow up with an understanding that
100%.
Yeah.
And think about all the people that they're going to help. And I mean, that generation in itself is so much more expanded.
They are expanded.
Oh, wow. It's such a remarkable thing to watch, truly. And what about your kids, Lee? How are they now with everything that's passed?
I mean, I think like everything, it's a work in progress, right? So there's times when I go, everybody's cruising and this is great. And I have luckily very healthy, happy, productive, school is good, kids, you know, fingers crossed every day. And then half the time I go, oh my God, let's all go to therapy right now because, you know, this is going to scar them, right? They're teenagers, period. So it's hard enough. And I've always come from the place where I just want to be 100% present and loving towards them and show them that I love Liz, that's a healthy relationship, that I am strong in my own independence, and that I'm there for them, whatever they need. And, you know, we take it as it comes. I'm so proud of them and I feel really good about it.
I love that. And I know Liz, you've shared your journey with your daughter and different things with that. And how are things now there?
We are evolving literally every day, and how shocking could that possibly have been for an adult child, right?
Yes.
So and again, I try to head things off as quickly as possible, which can lead to messiness. And when the way I had to drop the bomb on my daughter was messy, and I wasn't very eloquent with it. And so we've had to work through it, and it literally is a work in progress. But at the end of the day, our relationship remains solid because we love each other, and that's really what is important. And we respect one another, and that's what's really important. So it's a continual evolution. But the other part of that evolution is it doesn't have to be tied up in a neat bow and we've gone, and now we're done. And now we're all fixed up. Isn't this fun? Yeah. To me, it is an evolution that sometimes you just stop and you take a breath and you look up at the beautiful day and you go, look how far we've come.
Yes.
And whatever relation. And so me and my daughter, all of us, I mean, whoever it is, you just have those moments, you go, look where we were and look where we are. And we couldn't have done that had we not, or had at least I not made the choices I made, and whoever, say it's my daughter, she's made the choice to, you know, listen and be with me. And so I feel myself being very fortunate in this world. And it also I believe it starts with love and being ourselves.
It's incredible to watch. I'm so happy to hear your story. What's next? Are you getting married? I know you're engaged. Do you have a wedding date planned?
Wait on that one.
So go ahead. We'll tell her what you think.
Well, okay. The real quick, you want the engagement thing?
Sure.
Okay. The way we do things. No. Okay. The way I
see a lot of bling, by the way.
There's a lot of bling. That's why we're flashing.
Right. So one would think the next step would be, we like to take things a little differently.
Well, here's the thing. I was married for 37 years. What's the point, right? I mean, I love it. I mean, I love being married, but I really love this relationship. And yes, we might do that. And yes, we might have a big celebration and make it legal. I have a little bit of a chicken attitude about marriage just because it feels so good not to be. But I love, but she's my person, period. End of the world. Done. This is it. You know? Done. So we probably do something like that. But we had a lot of fun picking out rings, and I never really said, will you marry? I never really proposed.
No, it wasn't like that.
Tell them what I did.
It was just a Tuesday at work, and you said, let's go pick out a diamond. Do you want one? I said, absolutely. Why not?
It was in December of 2020. And we went to our favorite place in Diamonds Direct, and we know the owners, and they were like, yes, this is great. They rolled out the red carpet. She found the most beautiful ring. And then I was like, oh, wow, it's almost 2:00. I have got a hair appointment. And it was across the street. And I'm like, how about you text me pictures? Here's my credit card. I'll buy, and that's how romantic that was. Yeah. And it took me like, what?
It took you another year to go.
No, 9 months.
9 months.
I was
yes.
if you knew that. Yeah.
Okay.
Another 9 months, and we went back, and you picked your favorite ring.
Yeah. Aww. So now we have rings.
And I just like the way we do it on, our own speed, at our own speed.
Exactly.
I mean, that's what makes a relationship. And I'm not trying to buck any traditions or say that there's a wrong way to do it. But I do think that that's the beauty of being at the stages where we are. I mean, you've had children, grandchildren, I have children. We're not doing like the next step. We're just enjoying.
Yeah, we don't have to stop now, get married, have children.
Yeah.
There's no script.
In a beautiful way.
Yeah.
Plus life has been interesting in the last couple of years. I mean, life got in the way. We had a lot of business. I had a lot of personal things with my family going on. And, we had to, put other things, again, not in front of us, but always you're weighing what's more important in life right now. Yes, the relationship is important, but what have we got to get done? So we had some personal things we had to work with.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. So, what's on the bucket list? What else is on the bucket list for you all?
You want to know business or?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Give us both.
Okay.
Give us both.
Okay, but we're excited because it's fun. I mean, I'm still the owner, and I'm just the one. Anyway, the two of us have been traveling a little bit. We went down to Charleston. We are getting ready to make an announcement on September 17th.
Okay.
Of an opening of a new Hilliard Studio Method that will be we will tell you on the 17th where it will be. And so we're expanding the business a little bit now and physically. And so we wanted to do that pre-COVID, or I wanted to do it pre-COVID, then COVID hit, and then lots of other personal things, not our relationship, but things with my family that I had to take care of. So we put that on hold. And now it's like, oh my gosh, it's so exciting. So we're talking to two other cities.
Okay.
We've got one signed, sealed, and delivered, but we have to wait until this person is back in the country so that we can make the announcement on September 17th. Okay. And then personally, the beauty of working together is we love to work together. Right. But we also, to me, my business and my personal life have always been the same thing. I can't, I don't even want to disconnect them. So, but we like to travel, right? We like to travel the world, and Lee likes to plan trips. So
my favorite thing.
Yeah. So we're
nothing planned.
We don't really have, our bucket list stays empty because we just hit it hard. We go, we go whenever her daughter's in camp or something. We were in south of France for 18 days. I'm like, that's not enough days. We need more days.
That's lovely.
So we do as much, life is short no matter how old you are. I'm definitely going to be on the farther end of the spectrum now on the age part. But I don't care if I was 38 instead of 68. I would want to really embrace how joyful this time is. And we're having fun. And having fun also includes business expansion. Right.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so thrilled for you. It has been such a pleasure meeting you both. And I need to come down to the studio or take a streaming class on your website. I was looking into that.
You get a week free. We were just
okay.
Oh, good to know. You sign up online, HilliardStudioMethod.com, and week free, baby. Okay. You should come in and we'll just do it together. I'll do it.
Yes.
I'm gonna need some one-on-one assistance.
We can definitely do that.
I need somebody to lay hands on me. And then tell us what your socials are, and then how people can find you.
So I'm Lee Kennelly, just first last name on Instagram, and that's where I live. That's it. It's simple.
She is.
You got all the details.
I'm the same. I mean, I'm at Liz Hilliard HSM. On Instagram, and Liz Hilliard on Twitter, LinkedIn, and Facebook. And then it's Hilliard Studio Method as well on all the different networks. So
good.
Yeah, we are out there, and lots of things are coming down the pike. And so follow us if you can, and we'll let you know what's coming up. And I'm really excited about an article literally coming out tomorrow. So
that's great. I'll put that in the show notes if you'll send it over to me. The other thing I always ask my guests is, do they have a favorite charity? I like to promote charities as well. Yes.
Oh my gosh, this is the best question of the day because
good.
Well, okay, real quick story. My grandson, Cameron, that's been referencing a lot with family issues, had cancer, and last year he spent a year at St. Jude Hospital, and then where my daughter and son-in-law had to move. And this was very hard. And so Lee and her daughter, tell them the story real quick about how you started this.
So my daughter plays soccer, runs cross country, and saw a sign for the St. Jude race walk last year. And she said, well, why don't we create a team for your grandson,
Cameron Gray.
And so we did that. And I think people for however long had been waiting for an opportunity to support your daughter and her family, because they're known in the community and everybody loves them. And in a matter of a week, we raised $72,000.
Oh my goodness.
From the fall to the end of the year, $111,000 for St. Jude. So it was just a miraculous, amazing experience. So we're doing it again this year on October 1st. We will have celebration at the studio, celebrating Cameron and being healthy and home, lots of fun things and all his favorite things for the day. And in both of our bio links, and we can include it here if you like, would be a link to donate. All the money goes directly to St. Jude.
Oh, that's great.
What a hashtag Team Cameron Gray.
Yes.
Okay. Good. Well, thank you so much for sharing that part of your story. And I'm so glad that I brought that up, and I wish him all the health.
Thank you.
He deserves. Absolutely. It was so lovely to have you. I really appreciate your time, and we will look forward to hearing more.
Thanks so much, Laurie. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Love on the Go. I hope you join us on our next episode. You can make sure to know when it is by following us wherever you listen to podcasts. Also, if you enjoyed it, it'd be great if you left us a review. I'd appreciate it. In the meantime, to learn more about me and how my team can help you, visit carolinasmatchmaker.com. Until next time.